And welcome to the Target Center for our final game of the night, the last of 6 here on this quarterfinal Wednesday on PrepSpotlight.tv. I'm Charlie Beatty, and I'm joined by Rob Mestis. Second of our 2A quarterfinal matchups today, and it pits the number 5 seed Maple River out of Mapleton against the 4 seed out of Section 6 AA, and that is the Bombers of Braham. Two teams that won a combined 55 games and lost only 5 this year. And quarterfinal coverage of the Minnesota State boys basketball broadcasts are supported by Hazelton Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction and transforming lives. And also by Cub and your hometown Cub store. Born and raised in Minnesota, Cub is the hometown team. And also by Trio Orthopedic, as well as Comcast Xfinity. Well, we take a look at this final matchup of the day, and we're expecting a good one. Contrast to styles here, the high-scoring Bombers of Braham. That's a very fitting nickname for this team. Maple River a little bit more defensive. We'll take a look at their route here first. One Section 2 beat BELLE PLAINE by 7 to win it. Key wins over St. Clair, a team that's in the 1A field in this tournament. Also Waterville, Elysian, Morristown, a team they actually split with during the regular season. Key loss, St. Croix Lutheran. Well, who hasn't? St. Croix Lutheran, a tough team. We just saw them here on PrepSpotlight.tv rolling over Dilworth, Glendon, Felton in our first quarterfinal game here from Target Center tonight. Keys to success, the defense. And head coach Chad Osterman, a guy that my broadcast partner Rob Mestis knows a little bit, and also played on the 1993 team that won the state tournament. And they're back here for the second year. Lost in the semifinals last year, hungry to get back after it again, Rob.
Yeah, I think Maple River and Braham both have great histories in the state tournament. I think both of these coaches know what is expected by their fan base.
Well, we take a look now at Braham, and the Bombers talked about Maple River being a very defensive team. Braham, the exact opposite. They came here winning a very tough section final against Albany, and their head coach Jeff Eklund pointed out how tough it was to beat Albany. Big win over Melrose earlier this year, and look at another key loss to St. Croix Lutheran. Well, St. Croix Lutheran played everybody, and they beat everybody this year. But both of these teams would like another shot at the Crusaders, and that's what's at stake in this game. Winner of this one plays St. Croix Lutheran in the semifinals. And the keys to success for them, Larsons and Olsons. This is a broadcaster's nightmare, this team, because you've got 2 Larsons and 2 Olsons, and they're all in the starting lineup. Doesn't get much better on the other side because there's 3 series on the Maple River Eagles. But this team is an offensive force. They average 91 points per game during the regular season. They've got a couple guys that are close to the 2,000-point mark, one that is actually over it, and they really like to control the tempo of the game, and that tempo is up-tempo. And that's how it's been for a long time with Braham basketball, and no different this year, even with a new head coach behind the bench. Jeff Eklund is the man, a former Braham player, and he will line it up like this. Actually, we'll start with Maple River, their starting lineup. Brandon, it is pronounced Siri, even though it is spelled S-O-H-R-E, senior guard at 6'1". He is the team's leading scorer, over 13 points per game. Jeff Lewis, a junior guard in the backcourt with him, 6'1" as well. Andrew Albrecht, another guard, a 5'11" senior. The sophomore Ethan Sindelier, a 6'2" forward, and the big man in the middle is Will Keller, another guy they'll look to offensively at 6'5". And on the Braham side, you mentioned all the Larsons and Olsons. Connor Teshumper is going to be our best friend tonight, because when he has the ball, we don't have to say Larson or Olson. The 6'4" senior forward. Ryan Larson, a sophomore guard at 6 foot. Alec Olson, a senior guard at 6'1". John Larson, a senior forward at 6'2". And then Chris Olson, the senior guard at 6 foot. The Olsons are cousins. The Larsons are brothers. That is the distinction there for Jeff Eklund's team. I mentioned Eklund, former Braham player, played for them in the mid-90s, went away and went to Bethel, coached at Roseville for a little while, got the opportunity to come home, and said it was one that he couldn't pass up this year. And on the other side, talked about Chad Osterman, a guy who played at Maple River and won a state title with Maple River. Played at Southwest Minnesota State in his 8th year and winning 174 games in that span, a very good stretch. And back-to-back state tournaments for the Eagles. As you can see them being introduced there, as Will Keller going through the motions. Everything's so finely choreographed in the introductions these days.
Yep, and these guys, both of these teams have been here before. These coaches have been here before, so this is the same old thing for them. They're just ready to play the game.
Mentioned the one state title for Maple River. They also have a state title as just Mapleton back in 1979. That is the town. Maple River combined with a couple of the neighboring towns just south of Mankato, and now they are known as Maple River. But in a way, 2 state titles for this school, and for Braham, of course, back-to-back-to-back titles, 2004, 2005, 2006. That's when the only name you had to say was Dahlman around Braham, and of course all those guys that did a ton of scoring, all the Dahlmans. And now it's the Larsons and Olsons, and they do a little bit of scoring themselves. Chris Olson in this game is already over 2,000 career points. John Larson is over 1,900. You wonder where all the points come from, but when you score 91 a game, I guess that's the way you fill up the bucket. So we're expecting a good one here, even though it is a very contrast in styles. Maple River giving up only 51.5 points per game on the season. They only score 65 themselves, so you can tell just by that they like to control the tempo themselves at a little bit slower pace. We'll see what wins out in this one.
Yeah, something's going to have to give tonight. I don't think Braham is going to score 91 points, but I also think Maple River is not going to only score 65. I think there's going to be a contrast in style, but I think both of these coaches have been here before, and they're going to find a way to compete throughout the game.
Maple River comes in having won 18 of their last 19 games in their last 8 straight. And Braham, 23 out of its last 24. The only loss in there is to the defending Class AA state champion Melrose, 84-82. And they lost to St. Croix Lutheran, as you mentioned. That's their only other loss of the year. That was by 11. That's closer than most people played the Crusaders this year, so they'd like another shot at it.
Yeah, especially in the state tournament, they just won a game by 40-ish. So, they only lose by 11 early in the year. That's not bad at all.
It'll be Will Keller and Connor Teshumper to jump center. Braham in the blue, Maple River in the white. Underway for our final game of the day here from Target Center. And what a fun day it's been of basketball here on PrepSpotlight.tv. And an early travel as Chris Olson trying to attack the bucket, and the senior walks.
Yep, and Braham opens up the game, going to the basket, attacking right away.
You saw even Teshumper winning the tap forward. Not a lot of players intentionally trying to do that, but that was the design play on that one. Inside at the other end, and an early look for Ethan Sindelier, the sophomore, who averages only 5.7 points per game, but he gets them off the mark here, the Eagles. An up and down pace to this one.
Yep,
backdoor feed for Ryan Larson's out of bounds.
And with Braham scoring 91 points a game, they're going to pick it up and they're going to push the pace. So now it's going to see how Maple River responds to that and how they counteract that pressure and that fast break mentality.
This is John Larson. Back out for Ryan Larson. Mentioned that's the brother combo. John, the older brother, Ryan, the sophomore. And John can't hit it. Teshumper, the follow-up, and it's 2-2.
Teshumper with the nice hairdo. He might be in that hockey.
Do we need an all-hair team in the basketball
hair team. He'd make it.
You could put Cameron Betty of Osseo in there. He's got the nice long flow going as well. We've got an offensive foul here against Maple River. Will Keller with the push-off inside. I believe that's who they're going to get. And it is the first on Keller, first foul on either team. Just 52 seconds into this first half, tied at 2. This one's got a nice feel to it at the start. Some games, you can tell just by watching enough basketball, have that little extra energy boost. These guys have been waiting a long time to play today, and I think it's coming out.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. We expect this to be a very competitive game, a very tight play game, so I think that's how it's going to be. Maple River does a good job of containing, being in help side, but not denying on the wings, and I think that's going to be work for them this game against a team that likes to go to the basket.
This is Jeff Lewis, a junior. And now we get to see a little bit more of the Maple River pace. They are, I don't want to call them a slowdown team because it's not really fair, but they are one that wants to control the basketball, and especially against a team that likes to go up and down. Chad Osterman told me that on the phone the other day. They don't want Braham to be able to do exactly this.
Yep, and you know what? A team that takes its time and takes good shots, that's not necessarily, like you said, a slowdown team. That's a big shot right there for Braham.
That's Alec Olson, averages 12.5 per game. 4 starters over 10 points per game for Braham, as you might expect, and the 5th one is Teshumper, and he's at 9.3, so they can all score. Now Lewis. For Maple River, it's much more through Siri, a little bit through Lewis, and also Keller. On the inside, the miss, and the rebound to John Larson.
Yep, so far, Maple River's getting one shot, and that's it, and Braham is pushing it.
Olson can't get the roll, and the rebound ripped down by Lewis. 3 white shirts there to grab that one.
And as soon as Maple River gets the rebound and starts heading down the other way, Braham is right there picking up full court.
This is Albrecht. Haven't seen Siri touch it much here in the early going. Now he has it on the wing. Not much of a threat from there, though. They are looking at Keller inside. There he has it and got a little space, too.
Nice move.
First bucket for Keller. And a little cross up there, and coming in to help out is Ryan Larson.
Yeah, Maple River's not going to extend too much on defense. They're going to be in help side and look to contain their men, not overly pressure the guys, but making sure that they're in help side.
Out for John
Nice
Larson.
look.
Great look down low for Chris Olson. And when I asked Jeff Eklund about the tempo, he said that's just how the kids want to play. They want to get up and down.
Yeah, I really like the energy of Larson, number 5. You could tell he's pressuring the basketball. When the ball gets swung, he's over there ready to help and double and just get into play. He's always involved where the ball is.
7-4 in the early going for Braham. Here's Siri. And cut off on the baseline. You can see the help coming from Teshumper. Now they go inside, and another look for Sindelier. Guy who averages only 5 per game. He's already got 4. And right back the other way, and it rolls out for Chris Olson. Boy, that one looked like it had about 90% coverage on going in.
And I think, Braham used to hitting those shots, and Maple River's, dodging a few bullets right here and coming down and being able to score. That's just going to give them more confidence as the half gets closer.
Albrecht in the corner, given the baseline, and takes it, but misses the shot. Teshumper pulls down the rebound and is fouled by Sindelier in the process. Or are they going to call it on Teshumper? It looks like it's going to go against the Bomber. So it stays right here.
Yeah, I think he had inside position, and they called over the back. I'm not, sometimes it goes either way. These refs have been very good, so I definitely don't want to question any referee call.
Tough pass inbounds for Lewis, and good job to come down with it.
Larson almost had another steal there.
This is Cole Siri. Cole is not the brother of Mason. They are cousins, but Chad Osterman pointed out to me that they are distant cousins, not first cousins. There's also Mason Siri, who is Brandon's brother. So if you're getting all this and you understand all of it, you're doing better than I was the other day. And there's a miss by Cole, who comes off the bench and averages over 10 points per game, so he's a threat. And there's a block by Keller on the 3-point attempt by Alec Olson, so extending the defense.
Maple River is closing out. Every time they close out, their hands are up. That's a sign of a good defensive team. Their hands aren't down. They're not daring them to shoot. They're going to contest every 3.
Cole Siri again. They get it inside for Keller, and a grab down low. That's on Alec Olson. And that'll be the second team foul against the Bombers.
I think Maple River, came in with a game plan to feed inside, and I think it's working. They're finding success there early, and I think they're going to continue to do that until Braham finds a way to stop that.
Both of these teams won their conferences. Braham 16-0 in conference play in the Great River. And Maple River in the Gopher Conference, they were 11-1.
Maple River is doing a really good job with the pressure that Braham provides. They're not panicking. They're taking their time. They're moving without the ball. They have good spacing, and then they go inside and get an easy basket.
There's a great pass down low by Lewis to Keller, who's got 4 early ones. And Maple River with their first lead. It's 8-7. They're going to get some substitutions in here in a second. Wyatt Johnson's coming to the scorer's table. Chris Olson to the bucket, and right back on top, Braham.
Yeah, Braham looks like they're thirsty to score. They average 91 points a game, so they're going to keep attacking, but Maple River just has to keep holding on and being in great help side like they've been doing, and I think this is going to be a very, very competitive game. Maple River does a good job moving without the basketball, and if you look at their spacing, nobody's just standing there. They're always moving.
We haven't seen a tight one to the finish here at Target Center yet today. Maybe we're due.
Yep, I think this one will be.
Keller stepping out and nearly got the bounce. Battling for the rebound was Sindelier, but it comes down to Chris Olson. And he'll just pull up for 3, and he couldn't get the roll. That's 2 that he's tried from right about that spot, and he's been close. Just can't get it to go down. 9-8 Braham leading, 11:26 to go in a rapidly moving first half here.
Yeah, John Larson was sprinting on that transition. I think he was open. He might have missed him on that one for a layup.
Now Sindelier looking for Keller. Diving at the pass is Ryan Larson, and there is Brandon Seary to follow up.
Yep, again, not panicking. They're not worrying about taking jump shots. They're going to run their offense regardless of the pressure.
Long look there from John Larson, and the rebound from Seary again. And the foul is called on Chris Olson, who I think may have lost a contact lens in the process.
Yeah, it's frustrating sometimes for a team that likes to get up and down. When you play a team that's disciplined offensively and it's going to take their time, you start taking shots that you might not usually take.
And sometimes you get a fortunate bounce like that play there for Brandon Seary, but he certainly took advantage, and there is an ocular situation here for Chris Olson. Not only did he pick up the foul, lost the lens in the process, but it looked like it actually fell into his hand, which is, anytime you see that with a contact lens, how many times did you used to see it? Maybe more often than now, but players, about 9 of them on the floor looking for somebody's lens.
Yep, and it is tough. Now guys got these throwaway ones, so they probably have a few extras sitting on the bench waiting.
Good pressure again by Ryan Larson, and there's the steal by Chris Olson out ahead of the pack, and he'll put Braham back on top.
Yep, and that still was caused by Ryan Larson. He's everywhere. His energy is good. He's always in the gaps. When he's pressuring the ball, he's everywhere. He's a tough guy to play against because even when he's not guarding the ball, he's still a threat to get a steal.
You can see him again, just right up in Lewis's face, and that's 40 feet away from the basket.
He's the kind of guy that never gets tired, and there he is with the steal, pushing it.
Right back to John Larson, and swatted away by Lewis, and they're going to call the foul as he got a piece of Cody Carlson, who just come off the bench, number 25 for Braham.
I like the way Braham pushes the basketball in transition. They're very unselfish. I think these guys know what it takes to win, and averaging 91 points a game, obviously, but that was a good example of team basketball right there.
Tough call to take if you're Lewis, and Carlson misses the first free throw. Didn't look like a ton of contact on that play, but the referee's right on top of it. And as you say, especially in this night session, they've been very good. It doesn't cost Maple River anything.
No, but Maple River's been doing a good job of getting back. Braham does push it, but Maple River hasn't given up anything uncontested.
Lewis thought he had the baseline there, but backs it back out. Here's Brandon Seary.
Continuous movement by Maple River.
And the deep one from Cole Seary. He's come off the bench and does what he does. And right back the other way. Don't want to lose contain here. And there's a good bucket for John Larson with the answer. And that ties it up at 13. And Larson headed to the line.
Yeah, you can't celebrate. If you're Maple River, it's good that you hit a three. And I know you're excited to stay tournament. But the minute that you celebrate, Braham is going to push it and get a layup.
And the foul is on Cole Seary, who was the last man back. But really nobody picked up Larson. Braham's just got to find a way to get the free throws to go. But the follow-up there comes from Kyle Johnson, who had just come off the bench, and he's got 2. That's his season average. So it ends up as a 4-point possession for the Bombers.
And there goes Ryan Larson again, almost, trying to get that steal like a defensive back does in football, anticipating.
Quick ball movement here from Maple River. Here's Keller.
Good patience by Maple River, too. They're not frustrated. They're not panicking. They're taking their time. They're going to get what they want.
When you play an up-tempo team like this, is it a situation where you want to make them defend for 30, 40 seconds?
Yep, and, there's no shot clock. And why take a forced shot? Braham is a type of team that they're averaging 91, so let's get them out their comfort zone and make them play a little defense. So you might get them to foul or do something out of their normal comfort zone. And so right now, Maple River shouldn't panic. They're doing a great job of moving the basketball.
And how about that?
Wow.
They get the shot from Cole Seary. It wasn't necessarily a clean look, but he knocked it down, and it's a 1-point lead again for the Eagles.
And unlike this time, they weren't celebrating. They got their butts back.
And the outside look this time, that came from Kyle Johnson, and the rebound for Wyatt Johnson. And you can see Larson. You've been talking about it all game, but he wants that ball, and now a foul inside on Cody Carlson.
Yeah, you have a guy like that, like Larson, that's on the defensive end. It just ignites the team.
There's that last look from Seary, and that one might have been good. in the NBA range. Not sure if his foot was on the line or not, but it's 3 at the high school level no matter what.
And at the college level.
Sindelier comes in for Keller. And an offensive foul, an illegal screen called against Wyatt Johnson as he was trying to set one for Brandon Ziri.
Those unforced turnovers always hurt, especially when a guy just could take his time and set a solid screen. You know, you as a coach, you always talk to the team about unforced turnovers.
Now you can live with the ones where somebody just makes a great play, but don't beat yourself, right?
Exactly.
John Larson attacking, and again, just off for Braham. And we've got a situation, I think Sindelier may have gotten knocked in the teeth. And he looks like he's okay to continue. Wyatt Johnson, big guy, bowling his way to the basket. Doesn't score much, only 4 points per game, but they're getting it from some unlikely sources here early Maple River, and they lead by 3.
Yeah, and that was a good move. I mean, they're going inside, and they feel like they have an advantage down there. If they can keep going down there, I think they have something.
Now Brandon Ziri, and that one's a little short, and a great box out there by Kyle Johnson.
Oh, nice look.
Good feed there for John Larson from Chris Olson.
Yeah, they run a great fast break. This is one of the best transition teams I've seen so far in the state tournament. They really look to run, and I can see why they're averaging 91 points a game. You usually see that from Metro City teams, but Braham obviously knows what they're doing, winning 3 state championships in a row.
And the long one from Cole Ziri, that one doesn't go. And back to Braham. You talk about basketball cultures, and sometimes you get those in the small towns, and this is just the way it's been taught for years and years and years, and that's how Braham's been doing it for a long time. That's how you get guys that are all-time state scoring leaders, and they like to run.
Yep, there's a lot of ways you could play basketball, and you know, Braham's been doing it the right way for a long time. You know.
Another long ranger, and this is Chris Olson this time, and it's a 3-point lead for the Bombers. He's got 9.
I think Braham is really trying to separate and get some distance between this team, but I think Maple River is so disciplined that they're not going to panic. They're going to still run their offense. They're cutting hard. When they don't have the basketball, they're cutting hard. They're setting good screens. They're spacing well. And it looks like they want to feed the big guy inside.
And it's been played at somewhat of an up-tempo pace, but you look at the score line, with 6:26 to go in the first half, only 20-18. That's a Maple River score line.
Yep, and Maple River is not shooting it extra well, and they're still only down by 2. And, you know, Braham, it looks like they have all the energy, and they're getting fast breaks, and they're in transition, but guess what? They're down by 2 points with the ball, Maple River is.
Keller comes back into the game for Cole Ziri. Alec Olson is back into the game for Braham. Also, Matt Ridlin, number 21, has joined the action. You can see him defending Lewis. Teshumper also just returning. Here's Wyatt Johnson.
Good backdoor movement.
And another open look in and out, but the follow-up right there, and maybe a little rushed from Andrew Albrecht. It looked like he had time to come down and just pop right back up.
Yeah, I'm sure he wish he can have that one back.
(20-18) as Chris Olson dribbles that one off his foot.
Down screen on each side. They're really trying to work the baseline screens to see if they can get something down low, but Braham is just all over swarming the ball.
Yeah, Brandon Zuri smothered underneath. It's going to stay right here with Maple River on the held ball possession. Arrow. 2-point lead still for Braham with 5:42 remaining here in the first half. And Lewis to trigger it from underneath.
These are 2 well-disciplined teams, so it's like a slugfest, like a boxing match. Teams trying to figure out how they can gain an advantage, and right now nobody's been able to do it.
And a foul inside, and we're going to get a hold here on Teshumper. That'll be his second. He was trying to front Wyatt Johnson. You don't see a lot of holds called when a guy's fronting, but it did look like he actually had him around the waist a little bit.
Yeah, Maple Rivers, I think that coming into this game, their game plan was to go inside. I think they found something, they see something that they like inside, and so I think that's why they continue to look in there.
And a quick look for Keller. And that'll tie it up. Back the other way, Chris Olson not shy about shooting, but that one off the back iron. Trying to keep it alive on the play was Ridland, and they do. Here's John Larson. Falling to the floor. Manages to get it to Olson. This time he'll take it inside, and Braham back up on top.
Yep, and I think it's smart for Maple River to take their time on the offensive end because Braham is going to get points quick in a hurry. They're attacking the basket, and they want Maple River to play that way, and Maple River's deciding, no, we're not going to play that way.
Lewis.
Perfect game of contrasting styles.
And a close one just like we thought.
Good close out there. Everybody's in their defensive position on Braham. They're always down in defensive stance.
Lewis finds a little space and ties it up again.
So those are just fundamentally sound moves right there. Swinging it, ripping it through, one dribble, pull up.
First bucket of the game for Lewis, who averages just over 9 per game. Inside, it's John Larson, and he draws the foul. And I think that's on Keller, which would be his second.
You look at time of possession, Maple River definitely has way more time with the ball than Braham. Yet Braham is so effective and efficient. They're still up by 2.
So Keller does pick up foul number 2. He's going to stay in the game for now. Actually take Wyatt Johnson out, who would be likely the natural replacement. And Larson completes the three-point play, and this is the biggest lead anybody's had in about 10 minutes. 25-22 in favor of the Bombers. Keller picked up by John Larson. Ryan Larson has checked back in as well, and he caused a lot of havoc out there before. And the pull-up and the miss by Zuri.
Up and here they come.
And a reach and a foul. Maybe not a bad foul there from Albrecht, just his first. Because that was going to be a run out for the Bombers.
Yeah, if you're Maple River, you want to, once the ball is covered and rebounded by Braham, you want to sprint back, turn around and literally sprint back instead of playing and trying to rip the ball because Braham is looking forward to transition.
Cole Zuri comes back into the game. He takes the place of Keller.
16 foul the Eagles.
Ryan Larson now for John Larson. And he threw that one away. Good hands on the play by Sindelier to rip it out of there. And a chance to pull within 1 or tie it. They're going to go right for all 3 of them, and getting the roll is Cole Zuri.
Why not? And Braham, here they go. They catch the ball, and they're looking straight for transition. They're not being shy either.
And Chris Olson doesn't want the tie to last too long, and Braham never does. 28-25 with 3:24 remaining in the half.
As a player, these are the games that you love to play in, when you got a bunch of guys out there with confidence, and they're just going toe-to-toe.
You can see why Chris Olson is a 2,000-point scorer in his career.
Yeah, definitely not scared to take a shot.
The senior trying to keep that career alive for at least one more day.
Great movement on this motion. Guys move well without the ball for Maple River.
And a foul is called, and that's going to go against Chris Olson, it looks like, as he fouls Brandon Zuri. Here's the last one by Chris Olson. Pretty basic catch and shoot stuff right there, and that's good form.
These are games where, young players, I like them to watch games like this because you see that these guys are taking their time. On offense, you don't have to be super fast. Be quick, but not fast. And I think you learn a lot by watching fundamentally sound teams like this.
Bad news for Braham is that is Olson's second foul, so Kyle Johnson will take his place. Don't want to get that cheap third one under 3 minutes to go in the first half. And Brandon Zuri misses the second. He's a good free throw shooter at 73%, and now we get a foul on Sindelier, and that's going to send Ryan Larson to the line at the other end.
Yeah, I just became a fan of Ryan Larson. He's only a sophomore. He's going to be a fun player to watch. I like his energy. To have a guard like that for Braham, they had to get to have him this year and the next 2 years. They're very lucky to have a guy like that. As a coach, you value those kind of players.
Already averaging 16 points per game as a sophomore. Shoots 69% from the free throw line. Sam Bennett coming into the game for the first time here for Maple River, a 6'3" sophomore forward. So they go a little deeper into their bench. It's the 9th man to come in for them. That is pretty much the rotation. Larson misses the first free throw. Good rebound, however, on the play by Cody Carlson. And Larson gets another look and rattles it in.
Yeah, he's a confident young fella. You know, he missed that free throw. Most people wouldn't have took that shot right after a rebound, but he did. And then he's picking up full court right away. But I see Maple River, they're not rushing. They're walking the ball up the court, and they're going to try to get what they want.
That's his first basket of the game. And trying to answer at the other end is Colzuri, and couldn't do it.
And look who had the rebound.
And pushing the pace again. And the long shot from Alec Olson didn't go. And the rebound from Johnson, or rather Carlson, and he puts it in. And a timeout is called by Chad Osterman. A little bit of separation here for the Bombers. Up by 7 with 2:18 remaining here in the first half.
That was a perfect timeout, I think, by Maple River. Slow them down a little bit, give guys a rest, even though it's only a 30.
And you see the Bombers fans appreciating the effort. And reminder that quarterfinal coverage of the Minnesota State boys basketball broadcasts are supported by Hazelton Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction and transforming lives. 2:18 remaining here in this first half. And a little bit of a look here at what the Bombers have done in this last possession. Great effort here by Carlson, putting that up and in off the glass. Another look at it here.
Yeah, I mean, Braham is a team that pushes it, and I think Maple River is right there. I think they got out hustled on a few plays, and I think that's what Coach probably talked about in his timeout.
Shot of the fans from Maple River made about a 90-minute, maybe a little more drive up here just south of Mankato.
Wonderful fan base. Had a chance to
really
play with those guys.
Kind of underrated part of the state. There's a lot of great stuff to see down there, and nobody really ever talks about it. And there's a foul on the Eagles as the turnover, and it's your guy, Ryan Larson, again.
Yeah, he's everywhere. I definitely know that he's going to be a guy that we're going to be talking about for the rest of this game for sure.
Alec Olson, or pardon me, Kyle Johnson, number 11 or number 12, not number 11, is going to the line. Averages just 2 points per game. He's a senior. They're having a little trouble at the free throw line, Bram, but that's about it.
Yeah, the ball's bouncing their way. And you know, the loose balls, the 50-50 balls, they seem to be coming up with. And I think Coach Osterman is, at halftime is going to talk to his fellas about getting those loose balls and those offensive or those defensive rebounds.
That one bounced right into the arms of David LeVake over there on press row. David, writer for the Star Tribune, also contributes to Minnesota Prep Spotlight on Sundays. He and Jim Paulson with the great extra credit segment that you can see as part of the show. Here's a long one from Alec Olson that doesn't go, and the rebound down to Sam Bennett.
You know, I think Maple River, they're doing a good job of taking their time and running their own tempo of game, but also when they do have transition opportunities, I like to see them take a few. I think they had an opportunity that last rebound to push it a little bit.
Brandon Zuri couldn't get that one to go, and now right back the other way comes Larson, and getting a piece of it from behind was Colzuri, and they're going to call a foul on somebody. It might have been on Albrecht. We'll see. And they are going to call it on Zuri. So that's 2 on him. Also 2 on Keller. Albrecht also has a pair. And really this run, as you see Larson hit the free throw, started when Keller went to the bench. They could really use him back in, Maple River, down by 8 here.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough as a coach to have to sit a guy, but you know, the second half is so important. There's so much more time left that you got to keep him on the bench until the second half.
1 out of 2 is Braham still
struggling at the line.
Not quite calibrated at the free throw line. Picking up his dribble in a bad spot there was Colzuri, straddling the timeline. Lewis all the way through, and he gets the foul. That's a huge bucket for the Eagles. They really needed one here with 1:07 remaining in the first half.
Yep, and instead of relying on three-pointers and jump shots, they decided to get to the basket. I'm sure that's what Coach talked about in the last timeout. Get 3 the hard way.
And Jeff Lewis, that was a pretty tough angle shot. And the foul goes against John Larson, his first. Back into the game. Now Mason Zuri coming in. He is the younger brother of Brandon and comes in for Cole.
But the thing about Braham is they're going to try to get overall ball screens. They're not going to switch, and so that's why they did with that high screen and roll up there, and it worked. Maybe they'll find some success with that in the second half.
7 points for Lewis, and it's a 5-point lead here for the Bombers. And Ryan Larson around for Kyle Johnson. This is Alec Olson. Larson, great crossover, and he nearly got that one to go. He'll head back to the free throw line. We'll see who they get with this call.
That move was so fast. I have to watch it in real time again to see it, because that was pretty quick right there.
And you got Lewis completely turned around, and the foul goes against Brandon Zori, his first.
Yeah, that quickness, he's going to develop and hone that quickness. Once he gets a little bit older, he's going to be a player to watch. I won't be surprised if we watch him, we see him playing in March Madness someday in the near future.
Misses the first free throw. Zori comes right back in. Mason goes right back out. So kind of an offense for defense set up there for Chad Osterman.
Yeah, this game, Braham's missed some free throws. They had a chance to put this game a little bit farther apart, but, you know, free throws are big, especially in the state tournament, and especially when you're playing against a good team like Maple River. I'm surprised they didn't go with that high screen and roll again. They just had some success with it.
Lewis from way out. That one didn't look all that good coming out of his hand. He's a guy who came off the bench last year and made the All-State team. Diving to the floor there, not getting close to it. And that freed up Ryan Larson. It's a 9-point lead.
Yeah, if I'm coach, I'm telling them at halftime that we got to go to the basket. Shots aren't going to fall, and that's okay. We're a good enough team. They'll go with that high screen and roll again and see if they get some action with that. And they did.
Brandon Zuri and couldn't finish it. And then Albrecht had to give it up because he didn't want to travel, and that's going to allow a run out for Alec Olson. Drops it back for John Larson, and it looked like it was blocked. And now a chance for a final heave. And that one is off the mark from Brandon Zuri. So an eventful final 10 seconds, but nobody scores. And Braham leads by 9 here at the half.
That was a case of almost being too unselfish. That extra pass was a little bit too much.
So we will step aside here on PrepSpotlight.tv. A 9-point lead for the Bombers at the half. Good game here in our nightcap in the 2A bracket. 38-29 Bombers here on PrepSpotlight.tv. Halftime here at the Target Center. 38-29 Braham leading Maple River here in the 2A quarterfinals. Remember, quarterfinal coverage of the Minnesota State boys basketball broadcasters supported by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction and transforming lives. And also by Cub and your hometown Cub store. Born and raised in Minnesota, Cub is the hometown team. And finally by Tria Orthopedic, as well as Comcast Xfinity. Well, a good first half here, and the score here at the half not really indicative of how most of it was played. It was really about a 2 to 3 point game for most of it. Braham got the edge at the end, but this has been some good action up and down and a lot of good shooting.
Yeah, I think it's going back to Braham just dominating as far as doing what they want to do. Maple River's done a good job in the beginning of getting back in transition, but Braham keeps attacking.
You see some of these highlights, a lot of those buckets for Maple River going through the inside, a lot of that high post feed. Keller and also Sindelier on the inside doing a lot of good work, and penetration to the bucket. Chris Olson came out with 2 fouls late, but he was fantastic in that first half.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for these guys to look inside. I think they fell in love with the jumper a few times, but they can go inside and have some good things happen. And there goes Braham again with their transition offense.
The other side, the Zoris providing some of the outside shooting, but again, you see the transition buckets. John Larson also with a big first half. He had 8. Ryan Larson had 7, all of them late in that first half.
Yeah, these guys
Most of it was Olson.
These guys are playing very confidently, and I think Maple River is right there, though. I mean, if I'm coaching Maple River, I'm going in at halftime and I'm saying, hey, we're right here. We're right in this game. We probably took a few jumpers that we should have waited on. That's not their style, to take quick shots. If they go inside and take their time, run some time off the clock, they'll be fine.
You have to think that getting Keller back into the game is going to be a big help. He was a huge factor, not only offensively, but defensively in that first half.
Yeah, I think
opened things up for them.
Yeah, and I think that foul trouble. Now he only has 2 fouls. Now he's good. I tell him going into the second half, hey, you have 2 fouls, play like you have none. I think Maple River could do take some transition opportunities as well, though, too. I think sometimes because of their style of play, they tend to walk it up and not even look at those opportunities. But there's some opportunities for them. They need to take them. It's always fun to get some easy baskets. If you're the team that's always getting ran on, why not get a couple free easy baskets on Brown?
Well, we do want to show you some of the other games and take you over to Williams Arena. The game that finished up in the 6 o'clock hour was Jackson County Central, the unseeded 23-5 team against number 2 seed Caledonia. Here's how that one played out over at Williams Arena just a little bit ago.
Jackson County Central's playing man, but Behrens is just staying. He's not playing anybody. He's playing zone all by himself.
Matt Rinka takes it right to the hole, and that starts the scoring. Jackson County Central up 2-0. Huskies leading it. Shooting. Dorgan knocks it down. They left him wide open. Didn't even chase him. Cobb, number 3. Jacob Christopher, 10. Ryan Christopher, 12. And off the inbounds, they run the play, and they free up Behrens for the basket. 7-4 is your score. Shot by King. Knocks it down. Owen King. Christopher drives right, dribbles right. Spots up for 3 as they left him alone, and he knocks it down. Jacob Christopher hits.
Comes the 1-2-2.
Lampert beats it, flips it over to the side, and the three-pointer is made by Sam Barthel. Very interesting. Inside they go to Behrens. Behrens with the dunk and the foul.
So
King finds Lampert. Lampert drives and scores. Three-point shot on the way. The other Christopher. Ryan Christopher hits his first field goal of the game.
per game, 80 points per game. They've only got 26
Three-point shot by King, miss, rebounded by Schrader. Schrader's going to bounce it back in. Christopher has the ball, back door cutting, but the shot missed. There's Behrens with the layup.
Boy, it's nice to be 6'9", isn't it?
Christopher, and he'll get across the line, and he gets trapped. Ducharme with the steal. Nice play. Noah King tracks it down and scores. Very nice control. His fourth point. Quickly back comes Jackson County Central. Owen King with the steal. Lampert dives to the ground, gets it back to Owen King. He slides down the lane and scores. Pressuring outside. Colton Timmer just hit a three. He's going to drive in and shot. Inside to Timmer. Timmer's scored 5 points, and he got hacked. That was a nice move. He got hacked by Gumto. Gumto is ahead of the pack, too. He throws it up, doesn't get it, but look who's hustling down the floor. Behrens hustling.
So the first seeded team in any class to fall in Jackson County Central with the big win, 79-74 over Caledonia. So the 2 seed is out. How about the 1 seed? St. Croix Lutheran was here in our last game against Dilworth, Glendon, Felton, and the highlights are right now. Miscommunication there, but a nice catch by Johnson, and he gets to the hoop again. Cragness trying to get one to go from outside. Here comes Murky again, right at Cragness. DGF fans wanted to walk, but Krieger's right there with the finish. Rovney looking inside for Krieger. Murky not on the board yet until now. Made over 70 this year. Here's Murky. This guy could shoot him from outside as well. Augie Rovney. And a nice little soft touch as it rolls over the rim.
Only shooters get that kind of touch, that kind of roll in.
And again,
that's a beautiful press break right there. Looking to score. And if they continue to do that, like I said, they're going to compete in this game. A lot more space that you have to cover versus an ordinary game.
Have to cover it with the 1-3-1 as well. And this time, Rovney, who's a pretty passionate guy out on the court.
It's tough to guard him. He just needs a little bit of space to move.
And Payne with a nice touch at the other end. Back to a man-to-man here. Rovney undeterred, and he's 3 for 3. There's your heat check. Here's Rovney. I can't believe that one. The Rebels getting a little cold at the other end. We'll see if St. Croix Lutheran can take advantage. Rovney has not cooled down. And that's going to get our first time out of the game as Mike Clark wants to talk it over. 17 in the first half for Augie Rovney, and he's hit 5 3-pointers. And there's a nice drive to the bucket by Cole Tehran, averaging over 9 points per game. He's on the board for the first time, and Rovney cannot miss. I mentioned he plays with some passion. And Murky just ripped it away, and he's off to the races. And he'll get the foul as well. A late challenge there from Gunnar Payne, and maybe he should have just left it alone. No problem for St. Croix Lutheran, but one of the contenders out here in the 2A field. Both of these teams, however, look like a pretty dangerous opponent in that second round for the Crusaders. You have to think, don't want to pick a side, and we're not, but a Braham St. Croix Lutheran game might actually start fire to the court the way those two teams play and get up and down.
Yeah, that's a game. That's a game that I wouldn't want to miss. I think Maple River would give them a good game as well, but I think Braham, with their style to go against St. Croix Lutheran style, that would be a very fun game to watch. But, you know, Maple River, hey, they're down by, 9 points. They're not going away. And I think right now coach is telling them coming out of the halftime, hey, we need to go to the basket. We need to get layups first, inside out. And if they do that, they have a chance to compete.
And they will put the starting five back out there on the floor. So that's Brandon Zuri, Jeff Lewis, Andrew Albrecht, Ethan Sindelier, and Will Keller. Two of those guys, Albrecht and Keller, playing with 2 fouls as we start the second half. We expect the same 5 for the Bombers as well. So that's going to be the 2 Larsons, the 2 Olsons, and Connor Teshumper. And that is the 5 for Braham. Good crowds for both teams making the trek.
Yep, I'd be really curious to see Maple River if they can come up with some energy on the half court side of the basketball, if they're going to switch on some screens and see if they can get some fast break opportunities here.
This is Chris Olson, who lit it up in the first half. Wants to start hot here in the second. Can't get it to go, and Keller with the rebound. So Maple River gets the stop right away, and there's your fast break, and Sindelier lays it in.
Yep, I think coach is thinking the same way I am. Hey, we got to get us a couple easy baskets.
Great find by Lewis. Here's Olson attacking again. Wild shot. The follow-up by Larson. He's going to draw a foul, and I think they're going to get Sindelier, who was just kind of up underneath him.
Yeah, those are always tough to take as a coach when you say, hey, he threw the ball up. We got the rebound. There's a lot of loose ball going on. That's kind of a no call in my mind if I'm a coach, but they're right under there, and they made the call.
And again, the struggles from the free throw line for Braham. This game might be a little bit of a different story had those shots been going in, but they lead by 7.
Yep.
Let's get a look at Chad Osterman there. And 1 for 2.
So Braham's coming out with their same pressure. I don't think they'll change the way they play regardless of how Maple River reacts.
There's another guy Maple River needs to get going. Brandon Zori, only 3 points in that first half. 1 made three-pointer. Didn't have a lot of clean looks.
I like to see them exploit that matchup. They had Ryan Larson down there guarding big fella inside, and they didn't look inside to him.
Already again, no space. There's Chris Olson cutting off the baseline. Gets help from Keller, and that one bounced off about 8 different feet, and it's going to stay with the Eagles.
Yeah, it looked like it went off Braham's leg. That was a good help side defense. They're right there. They're always in their defensive stance. I think the refs got the call right on that one.
Just over a minute gone here in the second half. Bombers by 8. This is Albrecht.
Yeah, Braham does a good job. Braham does a good job with their help side defense.
Good job to track that one down by Keller, and a nice finish as well.
And there they go, going inside, not settling for jumpers.
And they've got to get back. And that time they were able to at least shut it off.
Yep.
But here comes Ryan Larson. And the follow, couple hands there. We'll see who they give credit to the bucket. And that's going to be John Larson who finished it. So he's into double figures with 10, and they're up by 8 one more time.
So they got half of it right. Maple River got back, formed a wall. So that first transition offensive basket wasn't there, but then they have to make sure they're in help side defense so they don't get that drive down the middle of the lane.
Lewis thought about it from the corner. Nearly lost the possession before that. Now here's Sindelier. Tough pass there for Brandon Zori, who did a great job to get it back. Trying to finish inside, battle for the rebound. Oh, Keller had a bunny if he could have pulled that down. Now it's 4-on-2 the other way. Chris Olson underneath the bucket, lays it in. He's got 16.
Yeah, Braham just looks like they have fun out there. Ryan, looks like he wants to have fun. The guys want to run with him. They know he's going to run, and they just go.
Here's Lewis, now Keller.
You know, he's posting up pretty well down there. He's backed his man up. He's had his man under there in the post a few times, and they've missed him. I'd like to see Maple River get him the ball inside. That's a good seal even right there.
As Sindelier working on Larson in the paint.
And it's hard when you have a wing that's pressuring the ball, pressuring the passer, but just trust in yourself and throw that lob, and you might have a layup.
Nice turnaround by Keller. He's been a big factor when he's been on the floor. He's got 10 points now, and the lead back down to 8. And now they need to get some stops here at the defensive end as Braham has really started to heat up. Olson high off the window, and 5 white shirts to pull down the rebound. Sindelier has it.
Yeah, the one thing Maple River can't do is stop playing hard. They can't get tired because Braham won't stop all night. That's a great drive right there.
That's Brandon Zuri, and he just went right around to Shumper, who's not the matchup for him. It's a 6-point game. Now Larson, the floater, and he gets the roll.
See, there was on that drive, there could have been a step over for a charge. Instead, there was a reach over, and there wasn't a commitment to help side, and I think that's what Maple River's going to have to do if they're going to win this game. You know, these guys are looking to go to the basket. They're not turning around or turning the corner to pass it. They're turning to put their head down and go to the basket. They have to help.
Another good catch inside by Keller, and he forces it up and in. Good pass by Sindelier. It's the only spot he could put it.
They found something they liked inside, and I think they're going to keep trying to exploit that. If they do, they have a chance.
Good ball fake there by Ryan Larson, and the finish by John. You know, the brothers combine on that one. Well, they're trading buckets here, but that's not what Maple River can afford to do right now.
In the first part of possession, they always do a good job of stopping them, but then they give them that offensive rebound.
Lewis can't hit the three, nearly tapped up and in. That was John Larson nearly putting it into the wrong bucket, but he does clear the rebound.
Right.
Now Chris Olson, and he traveled.
Yeah, I thought that was a travel. Maple River has a few things going their way. They have to stop trading baskets like you just mentioned and keep going inside. Go inside this possession. They haven't proved they can stop that yet. Go inside until they prove they can stop that.
So Cole Zuri in for Brandon Zuri.
Good movement by Maple River, a lot of screens.
Sindelier will take the jumper and missed everything. And right there to clean it up was Ryan Larson. Right back the other way and gets the roll, and it rolls right off. Now Chris Olson from deep. And the rebound by Albrecht. They nearly traded 2 for 3 right there for Braham. And
Yeah,
Maple River, you're going to give up the transition. I would imagine you can't give up the second shots as well.
Nope, and I don't think they can settle for a jump shot right here. I think they need to move the ball around, work their offense like that, and go inside and get themselves a basket or a foul. That's where their keys to victory is. There's no doubt about it. They may have some good shooters, but the bottom line is they need to go inside and get those automatic baskets. Oh, they caught an offensive.
So they're going to get that one on Sindelier, it looks like. That'll be his third. Pushing off against Ryan Larson. Substitutions for both teams. Sindelier out, and Wyatt Johnson, the 6'6" center, comes into the game. Also into the game, Cody Carlson for Braham.
You know, that's a tough break for Maple River right there because they're doing what the coach is asking them to do.
John Larson, the bounce pass, and it comes right back out to Ryan. Boy, they move the ball so well.
They do. Maple River did a good job again of closing up that paint and stepping over to help instead of reaching to help.
It's Kyle Johnson, who also just checked in. He was trapped, and his coach, Jeff Eklund, bails him out with a 30-second timeout. So 47-39 Braham here, 12:28 remaining in this game. Maple River, again, just chasing it here in the second half. Got to find a way to get back in it. And a reminder that quarterfinal coverage is of the Minnesota State boys basketball broadcast are supported by Hazelton Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction and transforming lives. And also by Cub and your hometown Cub store. Born and raised in Minnesota, Cub is the hometown team. And finally, by Trio Orthopedic and Comcast Xfinity. And our thanks to the sponsors allowing us to bring these games to you free all day long. Been a fantastic day of basketball here at the Target Center. It sounds like a lot of good games over at Williams Arena as well from the shots we've seen.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. We have some very good basketball venues in the metro area. We have one of the better state tournaments around.
and gets a little overshadowed this time of year, like you mentioned, by the hockey tournament. But they're looking for somewhat of a hidden gem. We won't call it a completely hidden gem, but this is a great tournament to be around. And as you mentioned, so many good players. And a good curl there by Cody Carlson. And the lead is 10.
Good play by coach coming out of that timeout. He wanted to get to the basket and get a for sure bucket.
Under 12 minutes to go.
Great seal.
And they can't get the ball to Keller inside, who's done great work in there. Brandon Zori is back in, trying to find the baseline. Hangs, hits, and no, he couldn't get it to go down. Looked like that one was going to drop. Instead, he'll head to the free throw line.
These guys are smart. I think they have the right idea. Their coach knows what he's doing. You know, they're trying to get to the basket. Braham is a good defensive team.
Yeah, we talk about how well Maple River holds opponents to 51 points. Well, Braham holds opponents to 54. They just outscore them by a good 37 per game.
Yeah, right now this is a game. I mean, right now I think these guys are still battling, trying to figure out where their options are. But Maple River is right there. They're making their free throws, and Braham is not at this time, too.
Just need to find a way to get that run. They haven't really had that push since they fell behind by 7, 8, now 9, 10 points.
Yeah, the key is not letting it get out of hand, not letting it get past that 10-point mark, that 10, 11-point mark, because then you're still in the game.
Able to get back quickly on defense after the free throws. John Larson up and under, and he traveled. And he has a look at the official on the near side, who's not the official who called the travel. So if you're that official, you say, what do you want me to do? My whistle stayed down.
Yeah. Players, if they don't think they travel, they're going to ask anybody to agree with them. It looked like he did travel on that one.
And that one just went right into the hands of Chris Olson. Tacking back the other way, and he finishes. Great play by the senior.
Yeah, that anticipation, that just shows that's the way they play. They're always in attack mode, even on defense. And, you know, that gives them offensive buckets as well. It's hard, you know, we talk about feeding inside, but look at the pressure on the wings. It's hard to feed those guys inside because they got pressure on the wings. Hands are up, there's pressure there. So it's a lot easier said than done.
Cheap one up top on Kyle Johnson. That's just the second team foul for Braham. Both teams with 2 here, and we're at the 10:48 mark of the second half, so no real threat of the bonus anytime soon. Quickly into Wyatt Johnson. And the big man, and there's Larson. Ryan Larson comes in to just knock it away, and he snuck up from behind him.
There goes that man.
And John Larson looking to finish the play at the other end, and a good box out on the play by Cole Zori.
Again, Maple River had an opportunity to
There
fast
he is
break.
again.
And there goes Ryan Larson, but Maple River passed up a transition opportunity. If he would have had his head up, he had a fast breaking layup ahead.
Maybe the best performance we've ever seen by a guy who's the 3rd leading scorer on his team tonight with 7 points. His older brother and Chris Olson have been doing all the scoring. Those are the 2 guys that are over 1,900 in their careers, but Ryan Larson has been a dynamo.
He's the heart. I think he's the heart of this team. He's a young guy. He doesn't care about scoring. He just wants to win, and you could tell by his energy that he wants to win.
And the floater, and if that one had gone down, that would have been real trouble for Maple River. That would have been that 12-point mark you mentioned. But here they come with Jeff Lewis.
Yeah, when you score 91 points a game as a coach, you have to live with some of those shots, those questionable shots by your guys. I would have liked to see Braham take their time and get a better lead at that one with that shot. Maple River can't get stagnant. They have to continue to move.
Zuri attacking, draws the foul, and still contorted his body, nearly got that one to go down. Under 10 minutes to play now, so time for the Eagles to make their move, and that's going to be Chris Olson's 3rd.
No, yeah, there's plenty of time. You know, there's just under 10 minutes left, but you're right. They do have to make a move here. They can't get tired. They can't get stagnant on offense. But they are hitting their free throws, which is a good sign.
Zuri only had 3 points in the first half, already 5 here in the second. John Larson out, Connor Teshumper in, the senior. And another senior, Brandon Zuri, trying to keep these Eagles in it. Down by 8, 9:49 remaining.
Maple River could use a stop on this possession here.
There's a good one. It's Lewis, and he will walk it in the other way, so he pulled a Larson on Larson.
Yeah, that energy, they needed to stop right there. That was the way to change the tempo and get a quick steal.
They got to try to find a way to get their crowd across the way into it. Chris Olson can't finish, and that'll get the fans up. They can cut it to a one-possession game here or pull within 4. Zori can't get it to go. Sindelier fouled on the follow-up.
You notice the first half, Maple River, I don't think they had one transition opportunity. Now they're pushing the ball, and they're noticing there's a little bit of kink in that armor with Braham. Braham likes to push the ball, and they like to run into transition.
There's the play by Lewis.
So Maple River can continue to do that. They found another way to find success.
Sindelier just 58% at the line this year, but knocks that one down, and it's a 5-point game here with 9:18 to go. So we talked about the push for Maple River. Here it is.
Yep, and you can see the confidence building.
Chris Olson going to the bench as well for Braham, who's really been maybe not their best overall player, but certainly their best offensive player tonight. And Sindelier 1 for 2. So the lead is 5, and they push it up quickly with Alec Olson, who's been a quiet starter tonight. Again, when they've got so many guys who score all the points, there's only so many to go around.
I was just going to say, that drive right there was the first time that Braham even put the ball on the ground. They were moving that basketball, and the only time you put the ball on the ground is to drive to go get a basket. Excellent ball movement.
16 now for John Larson. Brandon Zuri. They want to get it to Keller.
Yes, those guards are having trouble feeding him. He's there, he's opening with that seal, but the guards are having trouble because of the pressure on the wings.
Zuri is doubled. Here's Keller, who will step out. That was an awkward-looking shot, nearly worked. And now here comes the push, 4-on-2 the other way. It's John Larson, lays it off, and the younger brother won't get the lay-in. The foul was called before that, and it won't be a shooting foul, so that's actually kind of a net win for Maple River.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't matter who you are on Braham's team. I think they have the green light to push it.
Albrecht in for Keller. And Chris Olson didn't have a long rest. He'll come right back in, taking the place of Kyle Johnson.
Yeah, he's not a guy that you can afford to have on the bench too long.
Well, Ryan Larson to trigger it in.
Good movement continued by Braham.
Well, Lewis was trying to gamble again. That opens it up for Ryan Larson. Can't hit the shot, and Lewis rips the rebound away from Olson. Olson 7 rebounds a game. It's a solid play, but now Lewis is trapped in the backcourt, and what's the call? A timeout is called by Chad Osterman.
Good timeout.
And he is furious with the officiating. Now Jeff Eklund is saying that he never had the ball when they called timeout, which is maybe a legitimate case. It looked like it was moving around. Here you can see the whole play.
Yeah, it almost looked like his foot got out of bounds when he went out there.
Yeah, it did look like that foot came down on the line. The official's right on top of it.
Yeah, I think Ryan Larson's had a great game so far. He's their engine. Some of the shots he's taking in this game in the second half are questionable. When you're only up by so many, you want to move the ball around and try to get yourself a basket too. But I think that's a sophomore mistake as well.
And on that second look, it almost looked like the ball even touched the sideline. But
yeah,
it's still Maple River ball. So good shots by our camera crew today. Long day for all of them, and they've done fantastic work all day long.
Yeah, and the referee was right there, so I'm sure he's seen it a lot better than we saw it.
Jeff Eklund still pleading his case, you can see. They can't get the inbounds in because of Chris Olson's work. There you see Chad Osterman. Not just Chad, but 4 of the 5 coaches for Maple River are Maple River graduates.
That's always a good
hometown
thing.
feel.
Yep, that's always a good thing. You try to keep your guys, local, and they stay loyal. Nice.
Quiet
move.
second half for Cole Zori, and he can't get that one to go. Now John Larson, another good rebounder and a good ball handler, pushing the pace, finds to Shumper, and Chris Olson with contact. And he has a chance to put Braham back up by 10.
Yeah, Braham is a very unselfish team, I've noticed in this game. Like I said, I'm very surprised when they take questionable shots because they're so unselfish. I mean, that right there was a very unselfish pass, and it gave him a chance for 3 instead of 2.
And Sindelier picks up foul number 4, so they're going to get Keller back into the game immediately. They can't do it right now, though, because Olson misses the free throw.
Those come back to haunt you.
So far, Braham's been able to get away with it. They lead by 9. When you play a team against this pace, how tough is it to stay with them for 36 minutes, trying to chase them up and down the floor?
Yeah, I mean, part of that is with Maple River just taking their time and with offensive possessions, too. Don't let them force you into shots that you don't want to take, because you know that they're going to try to push the ball and get the game going up and down.
Great play there by John Larson. He threw it off Cole Zuri.
Yeah,
it allows Keller to come into the game at least.
Yeah, even that shot, even though it was, you know, inside shot, kind of a layup type of floater shot, it was still a rushed shot. It wasn't the same kind of shot that they had been getting in their offense, where they've been taking their time and getting layups.
Well, Braham has certainly answered that push from Maple River, and now Chris Olson looking for a dagger shot, and he puts them up by 12. That's the biggest lead of the game here for the Bombers.
You young fellas, watch him, that footwork. He fought for his feet before he got that ball, and he was ready to shoot it as soon as he caught it. All the work was done before he caught that ball. Great footwork by a great shooter.
Now Keller had it knocked away, but they're going to call a foul on Larson. Not a shooting situation. That's just the 5th against Braham. Here's that shot again. You see Olson coming around, and watch the feet.
Beautiful. And he spent hours in the summer perfecting that.
Here's Albrecht.
Don't get stagnant. Have to move.
See just a little offensive confusion here for Maple River. Not sure where the shots are going to come from. That's a good look.
It is a good look.
Cousin to cousin.
Yeah, they're
Doesn't
trying
matter
to
how
spread the
distant
floor.
they are.
They're trying to spread the floor and see if they can beat their man one-on-one. If not, feed the post. I think that's working as well. Take their time. They still have some time left, but they have to start being a little bit more aggressive.
Deschumper can't hit. I think you can live with Deschumper shooting. He's a guy who can score, but hasn't done much tonight for Maple River.
Nice, and that is a nice
Lewis.
move. And that kind of counts as transition. You know, they pushed it up and got an easy basket. They have to get some of those. Let's see what Braham gets here.
The lead back down to 8, under 6 minutes to play. And Maple River has answered that Olson 3 with a pair of buckets of their own. Here's Deschumper. Now Alec Olson. And Ryan Larson across the way. They're going to let him shoot it from the outside.
But this is a well-coached team, and he's not going to take that shot anymore.
Deschumper.
Yes.
Now, they can't live with that shot. And a good runner. The guy wearing number 0, 4 points for him.
You say what you want. Braham is up and down team, but when it comes down, they're fundamentally sound. That's a nice transition basket right there as well.
Brandon Zuri taking it all the way in. He's got 13.
These are two well-coached teams. Players know how to play.
Here's Olson. That one's short. And the rebound chased down by Albrecht. You can see Larson didn't really want to dive after it. Now Lewis. Larson with the challenge, and he put him off.
Well, and you have to get that out of that fast break. These guys have found, I think Braham is a little tired. I think that's a good timeout because Maple River is pushing the ball on them.
And a 60-second timeout. We'll take it with them. 60-52. Braham leading exactly 5 minutes to play here in our final game of the day on PrepSpotlight.tv. Well, there you take a look at the Eagles of Maple River who have 5 minutes to go to save their season, down by 8, and a big miss a moment ago by Jeff Lewis on transition.
Yeah, they got to have that one. I know he wishes he can have that one back, but hey, there's 5 minutes left. Just make the next one. They need to stop right here, though. This is a big defensive possession for Maple River.
And now you'll see Braham maybe a little more patient. Maybe. Not the way they prefer to play, and maybe not. Here's Alec Olson, who hasn't really shot much tonight.
Yeah, that was a questionable shot for them. Yeah, good team movement, but that was a quick shot.
Nearly another steal for Ryan Larson. Boy, if you count up the steals plus the near steals, he's got to be into double digits by now.
Yeah, deflections is one of the the stats that we like to keep, and he has a bunch of them. Sign of a great defender. Great seal, feed him. He should have fed him right away, but that's okay. He got it down there. Go right back to him.
Lewis finds Albrecht. Big shot here, can't get it to go. Keller trying to clean it up on the backside and gets a timeout.
Great job, great timeout. Heads up play by that young man. And I don't mind that three either because it went inside out, you know, and they're going inside out. They don't have a whole bunch of time, but you know what? They're going inside and then out.
There you see the fight for the ball between Keller and Teshumper, and clearly had possession that time. No question about it.
Be nice for Maple River to come up with a basket here. That would be nice. If they don't, it's not the end of the world, but it'd be nice to come up with a basket right here.
What do you draw up? What have you seen in the second half that would...
You know, for me, I would do some type of screen-to-screener action. I know my bigs have been successful down there, so I would do some screen-to-screener action, either off a box set, because I know if I go inside, I have an opportunity at least to get to the free throw line. So me, I'm going inside. A lot of teams, though, they have plays where they come off and they can get a three with their underneath out of bounds plays, but for me right now, I'd go for a screen-to-screener action off of a box set.
And we saw a few minutes ago Braham come out of a timeout with great execution. Maple River needs that right now.
Yep, and I think they have a coach. Osterman, you know, he's an X and O guy. He's been doing this a long time as a player and then as a coach, so I think he probably has something up his sleeve. Let's see what they do.
Big possession in the game right here. Maple River down by 8, 4:13 remaining. Jeff Lewis will trigger it in. Quickly in for Brandon Zuri.
Yeah, they just wanted to get the ball in bounds and get a set run.
Zuri's been attacking well here in the second half, and they'll have to reset this one. Here's Keller. Good defense by Braham. There you go, right at Teshumper. Offensive foul. Teshumper just stood his ground and a little too aggressive with the shoulder for Brandon. Here it is again.
Yeah, Braham is willing to do whatever it takes in order to get charges, in order to get defensive stops. I'm really impressed by their man-to-man defense tonight.
Well, Ryan Larson walks it up for Braham, and we haven't said that much tonight. Under 4 minutes to go. Teshumper off for John Larson.
They're running that flex cut, and it's always hard to defend that. Even though you know it's coming, you have back screens, you have guys cutting, and they do a great job with it. This time, I don't think they're going to take that quick shot.
Yeah, this is hold the ball offense right here,
Yep.
and you're right. It's almost impossible to dive out and get a steal. Because you're a step behind everybody. You have to run through a maze just to get there.
Yep, and if you switch, then you have a dive underneath. So flex is always something difficult to guard, and they're doing a great job of running some time off the clock.
Might have been able to see Jeff Eklund in the bottom of your picture applauding the players too. Just taking the air out of the ball for a team that doesn't like to do that, but doing what they need to do to win.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, it's about winning. Survive in advance.
And they get a good look out of it for Ryan Larson. Only his 9th point of the night, but that is a great possession by Braham, and their whole bench stood to applaud it.
Yep, and a perfect execution. And if you're going to be a state tournament team and you want an opportunity to win, you have to be able to play that way.
Lewis found himself open for the turnaround. Battle for the rebound, bounce right to Cole Zori.
They're probably going to have to think about putting some full court pressure on. They're not going to be able to let them walk the ball up the court. And so you see they are doing a little diamond trap, a little half-court trap here. But all it is allowing them to take time off the clock. They're going to have to do some scrambling a little bit, maybe some fouling. They haven't been shooting free throws very well. Maybe they put them on the free throw line.
And Lewis does foul Olson with 2:12 remaining. There you see Jeff Eklund very pleased with what he's seen from his team the last couple times. Here's the last bucket for Maple River, and just sometimes you get the bounces.
Yeah, it might be a little too late. If Maple River's going to have to pick up their pressure, maybe some man-to-man or definitely full court, whatever it is. Let's see if Braham hits their free throws. They haven't been hitting them as well tonight.
It is a 1-and-1, and that one's short. Teshumper trying to get the rebound. That's a jump ball. It'll belong to the Eagles, though.
So fouling is the hack-a-shack idea is definitely in place with Braham tonight. They're not making their free throws. They've done a lot of things well, but free throws is not one of them tonight. And Braham is still not, they're going to still pressure the basketball and make it hard for Maple River to get anything.
And they're trying to get it to a 2-possession game right now.
And they're switching all screens, so it's tough. and you have a versatile defense where you can switch everything. That's a nice move.
What a good piece of work by Lewis. He had Larson all over him and just found a way around. Now Larson lost it going in. Maple River ball. That's a huge break for the Eagles. Down by 6 now with 1:46 to play, so don't count him out just yet.
Yep, and that full court pressure changed it a little bit and made him dribble off of his foot.
Talked about Larson having such a great game. Maybe a bit of a mistake there from the sophomore, rushing it a bit.
Yeah, he's going to learn. He's a great player. He's going to be a great player, and those are just mistakes that young men make.
And Zorio a little bit too strong on that, and John Larson grabs a key rebound and now wants to push the pace.
I didn't know he was that fast. So now they have to think about fouling. Don't let too much, foul him. He's a sophomore. See if he steps up and makes them.
And Ryan at 69%. We talked about the free throw percentages of this team. The only guys that are above 70, Alec Olson and Chris Olson. Chris Olson even hasn't really been hitting them tonight.
Yeah, and when you get to this point in the game, especially when the team hasn't been shooting well, it kind of gets contagious. It seems like that at least.
That
he stepped
one's
up,
good.
knocked that thing down though.
John Larson would be the guy to foul. He's at 52% on the year. They had a chance on that last possession, but he was able to get it to his younger brother in time, who hits them both. And that, I think, is the first time tonight that a Braham player has stepped up and hit 2 out of 2, and in a big spot.
Well, if you're going to do it, now is the time. Maple River has to get something quick into the basket here.
Bolzori on the baseline, got it. And a quick timeout by Chad Osterman.
Yep. And I think right now he's going to probably come out with some type of man-to-man pressure, even maybe a denial to not allow them to get the ball in bounds. You're going to have to try to do something, even maybe foul before the ball gets passed in if you can't get a steal. You want as little amount of time to come off as possible. Make them stretch this game out as long as you can and make Braham win it on the free throw line. Surprised that people are walking out.
And just a few, but still a lot of time to go in this game. 1:08 remaining, and it's just a 6-point game.
Yeah, when you have two teams with state tournament history like these two teams, you know anything can happen. And I know Osterman is down there telling his guys, we have a chance right now. We really do have a chance. And they do. And Braham is over there saying, hey guys, this is our game to win. We have to make free throws, and we have to take our time. No unforced turnovers, no silly fouls, and we win this game.
Braham has had the lead for about the last, I would say, 20, 25 minutes or so of game action. And up by 6 right now. This is as close as it's gotten.
Yeah, when you play Braham, you got to be in shape. Maple River definitely is in shape because in order to stay with Braham, you have to be in shape because they're picking up. They remind me of the old Arkansas teams, 90 minutes of hell, when they would pick up full court and play you like that the whole game. Braham kind of has that same type of mentality.
They really get up and down. You talked about the defensive side of it. The offensive side of it kind of reminds me of the old, not necessarily Loyola Marymount, but some of that. Just get it and go. Off the foot, and it's off the foot of Lewis, and even he shakes his head and says, yeah, that was me.
But again, they're working. I'd like to see them even deny. I wouldn't even let them get the ball in bounds. And I'd even almost think about fouling.
Olson, he's out ahead of the pack. John Larson is all alone, and that's what you can't have.
Yeah, you can't have that. I think they were a little confused as to what to do or who they wanted to foul. You can't be choosy or picky at that point. You have to foul whoever's in front of you, and I think they failed on that attempt.
And now Maple River taking a lot of time here, down by 8. They've got to get something going. Lewis attacking the bucket, had it blocked, but the foul is going to be called. He'll get 2 shots.
Yeah, and that was the ref on the opposite side called that one, so I'm curious on who that's on.
They're going to give it to Ryan Larson. Just his second. There you saw the last bucket.
And I don't think that's a bad foul by Ryan Larson. He was going to have a layup either way, so at least this way you make him earn the 2.
And he misses the first one.
You know, sometimes people say, how could you foul at this time of the game? But you know what? He's a defender, he's competitive, and he stopped him from getting an automatic 2.
And in fact, he gets none.
Got a foul.
Keller is fouling. He'll put Chris Olson on the line. So it's looking increasingly more difficult for Maple River. A good group of seniors on this team. 3 starters, Brandon Zuri, Andrew Albrecht, and Will Keller. They actually aren't the oldest team in the world. It's really the only 3 that play significant time. Alec Baer, a 6'3" senior center, is the only other senior on the varsity roster. So future definitely bright for this Maple River team, but maybe not in this one.
Yeah, and they reload. You know, these are 2 really good programs.
John Larson trying to put it back and had it knocked away, trying to save it now. Lewis was looking for the ball, and it's out of bounds, and it belongs to the Bombers. So great work there by John Larson on the offensive glass.
Yeah, they're going to play until the final buzzer. I think both teams will. I just think Braham just tonight had a little bit more energy all the way around when it was said and done. Those 50-50 balls. Maple River had an opportunity to get that.
And a foul before the ball even came in bounds. I think that's going to be on Lewis.
Not a bad foul, though.
Got a piece of Ryan Larson.
You know, it's always touch and go with those because you don't want the referee to give you an intentional, but I think they did a good job by not letting any time go off the clock.
30 seconds is exactly what remains. 4th foul on Lewis. Sends Larson to the line. And there's point number 12 for Ryan Larson.
Yeah, if Ryan Larson is hitting those free throws, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's stepping up. He wasn't shooting very well side earlier in the game. We were kind of talking about his shot selection, but he's stepping up and making these free throws.
Short on the second one. And here comes Lewis back the other way. Zuri looked like that one was deflected by Larson, and that'll do it. He's got a man all alone at the other end, and it's Alec Olson. He won't even take the shot. They're just going to dribble it out. Maple River not even chasing this. That's going to be the end of the game.
Yeah, respectful, very respectful. They could have went and tried to get a dunk, but they didn't. You know, that's just a sign of a good program, a good coach. Very impressed by that gesture.
67-58 the final. Braham takes down Maple River, so the 4 seed and the 1 seed holding serve on this side of the bracket. The other side's a mess because Caledonia is already out, and we last saw Esco, the 3 seed, was losing to Annandale. Still a little bit of time left in that one, but could be an upset half of the bracket, but it is not this half. A 9-point win for the Bombers, and really a win they deserve.
Yeah, and that's why you play the game. I mean, like you said, upsets happen, but this Braham team is the real deal. I haven't seen them play. I've heard about them, but they're the real deal. They have shooters, they have guards, they have athletes. I think they're a team that can contend with St. Croix Lutheran.
And a reminder, this game was partnered with Hazelton Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction and transforming lives. And also by Cub and your hometown Cub store. Born and raised in Minnesota, Cub is the hometown team. And finally by Tria Orthopedic and Comcast Xfinity. Our great thanks to all of our sponsors for helping us bring you this quarterfinal coverage of the Minnesota State boys basketball tournament here on PrepSpotlight.tv. So our final game of the night goes to Braham, and really we talked about it, they deserved it. For Maple River, just couldn't quite get over the hump there at the end of the game. Got it back to within 6 a couple of times, but as you look at these highlights, look at the buckets that Braham got, you look at the buckets that Maple River got, it was a lot harder for the Eagles to score in this game.
Yeah, 2 well-coached teams. Braham was just a better team, I think, tonight, and that's why they won. I appreciate you guys for having me here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big thanks to all of the people we had out today. Mark Tucksher from Champlain Park, and also Ken Getzlaff from Woodbury, and of course you, Rob, for filling in on the nightcap. Great work by all 3 of you, and a hats off to our guys in the truck, led by Zach and also by Joel. Great work done by them, and they started about 6 a.m. this morning. So as this is a 13-hour day, we're going to make sure it isn't too much longer for them. But we do want to thank everybody for tuning in and making these games such a big success today here on PrepSpotlight.tv. It was our pleasure to bring them to you all day long. So for our entire crew, for Rob Mestis, for Torrey Holt, for Kent Getzlaff, for Mark Tucksher, for Ryan Phelps and Andy Price over at Williams Arena, I'm Charlie Beatty saying so long. Thank you for watching all day long PrepSpotlight.tv in the Minnesota State Boys Basketball Tournament.
Thanks a lot, and Amari Mestis, go to sleep.